Hi, welcome back for part 2. So as you can see, I've completed this next white section. Looks just the same as the red, pretty much. So we're now going to move on to the next red section, but before you do that, I suggest starting to stuff the bottom of the candy cane. So I've stuffed up to about this white section here. You can stuff a little bit more, but just it might start falling out if you stuff too much. But just it's much easier to stuff the bottom here before you get too far around the curve. So we'll start off with our next red section. So as you can see, every time you're doing just one row, it will finish like one stitch further over. So you see where we started that white section was there, and then when we're starting this white section is over here. So it's moving over every time, but that's okay. It won't be too obvious on the curve. So you're going to take your red yarn, do your slip knot, and what we're going to do is one full round. So because of how that's moving along, I'm actually going to start back in line with there. I'm going to start in this stitch here, just directly above, directly above that long one there, just so we're sort of moving it back to where the last rounds were starting. And you're going to do one full round of the single crochets. So this bit's a bit tricky here because of the different levels. So you go into that one there, and then there's sort of a gap here, but actually there's no like stitch because that stitch there is attached there. So you're just going to go across that gap and into that stitch there. There you go, it's not very obvious. Okay, and we'll continue round. So you're just going to jump down as normal from that higher row. So the reason that your stitches, or your rows, were like moving over is because you see now before we were ending like this next to the stitch, but because you're just doing one row to create the effect of the row being fully finished, you're then slip stitching into there, which basically makes it look like it's moving over one every time. So like you did before, you're going to fasten it off because we're not going to do another full round. I'll just show you what that should look like on the side. There we go. Now as you can see, the shape's sort of a bit wonky because it goes quite straight then curves quite sharply. So what we're going to do to get rid of that sort of effect is we are going to start further back this time. So rather than just counting 7 stitches, we're going to count more. So I've counted 10 from where I started, but if you've ended up in a slightly different place, if you basically find where you did your started your first row on the white section and go straight up and then go 2 further along from that. There you go, and you're just going to do your rows like you were doing before. So I think you should need to do 10 stitches, but I will check. It's 2. Okay, that's me done 10. I think I might have been wrong. We might have to do more than 10 because that's not even got me halfway round. I think we might actually have to do 15 if I'm right. I'll count in from this side though. So I just have to do 3 more, so that's actually 13. Not quite sure how I ended up with that number, but a lot of my projects seem to end up like this. There we go, so if you count up from where you did your first of the, or if you go up there, and then 1, 2. Okay. We're now going to move on to our next of the red sections. As you can see, this red section here is sort of halfway around the curve now. So this time we're going to move 2 along to start there. So it will be just like your 2 previous rows where the first one started, but this time it is the second one. So 1, 2. And just the same as you've done before. So I've jumped down 1 and just do my second one. And I'll fasten off. Okay. For our next one, we are just going to go along 1 and then just do the same, but we're just starting 1 along, finishing 1 off again. Okay, that's me jumped 1 down. I'm going to fasten off and pull through. Okay, this time we are going to go 2 along, just because we're just a little bit further back than you need to be. So starting 1, 2. Okay, we're going to fasten off. I'll just stop a minute to have a look. Yeah, so this red section really is that's almost halfway round. Or not even almost, literally is halfway round. As you can see, it looks a wee bit puffy where we've sort of done these increases. That will be evened out when you stuff it and it sort of stretches into the right shape. Okay, for the last red section, you're just going to start one before and finish one after, just like you've been doing. So I will come back once we've done that and show you how to do the next white section. Okay, for your next white section, you're basically not going to do a whole round at all. And this way, it means that we can really pull the insides together so the outside curves round. So you're going to take your white and you're going to start basically just one before where your red section starts. So you see when your candy cane is puffed up, it'll be right on the inside, you'll hardly even be able to see. So be very unobvious. Okay, so we've gone one past the red section where it ended. There we go, and that is your first row. So now what we're going to do is start further back. So we're going to count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to start on the 8th stitch in. And then again you'll finish 8 stitches from the end on the other side. I'll just count. Yeah, okay, that's me on the 8th stitch from the end. So we will fasten off. For the next row, you're just going to basically repeat what you've done, starting one before. Okay, so that was just in our third row. You're going to repeat exactly what I have done there for your fourth and fifth row, sorry. So 4 will start there, 5 will start there, and sorry, your 4th, 5th and 6th. So 4 will start there, 5 will start there, and 6 will start there. And then I will come back and tell you how to do the next red section. Okay, so for this next red section, you're going to repeat exactly what you have done for this white section, starting on this stitch here. So starting there, you're then going to crochet all the way around and finish right above that stitch right there. That will be your last stitch. Then you're going to repeat for each of the next 5 rows exactly what you did before. And then I'll come back and I will show you how to do the next white section after that. Alright, so I finished that red section. So now, as you can see, if I lay it flat, we're almost back to it being straight with this side here, which means we only have to do 2 more sections, one white section where we'll still curve round slightly, and then our final red section to finish off. So we're going to go back now to doing an entire round, right round, and we're going to do 2 of those while still doing our increasing edges, things, rows on the outside. So you're going to take your white yarn and you're going to start off just there, just next to where your red one ends, and you're just going to crochet 1 round as usual. So then we're just going to jump here. Instead of just jumping 1, we're jumping up 2 rows. Just make sure you do this nice and tight to pull them close together so you don't have a big gap there. Then you're just going to go around as normal. This is our jump down 1 row. Now we are doing our jump down the 2 rows. So we're going right down to that stitch there. There, and remember again, try to keep it nice and tight so there's not a huge gap. There, and that is me in the final stitch there. So then you're just going to slip stitch into the white, or actually, because we're going to do another full round, you can place your stitch marker in and just leave this here and then come back for when you do the white again. there, and you can take the other end. I'm actually running out of my white, so for the purposes of the video I will be using a different white to show you, because unfortunately I do not have the same one. It's probably not too obvious that it's different, but it does look more different in person. So what you're going to do now is we're going to count quite far round, and we're going to do a small first row. So 1, 2. So on the 11th stitch you're going to start your next row. Which means you're not actually going to do very many stitches at all. Let me just count that from this side. Okay, and yeah, that just about lines up. I just have to do one more, which means I have done 12 stitches for this mini row. Okay, and you're then just going to fasten up. And we're going to go back to this side. So we're just going to start one before for this row. Just there. And you'll finish one after. Okay, that's one after, so I'm going to fasten it up. Okay, for our next one, we are going to do it 2 along, and then also finishing 2 after. So starting there. There is 2 after, so we are going to slip stitch and fasten off. I'll just puff it out so we can see the shape. Yeah, it's practically flat, so that is good. We are again going to do the stitches from 2 along. So do your slip stitch, inserting it 2 stitches along. Okay, and finish on that second stitch after. There we go. So that was our 5th row. So now we're going to just do a full round of the white that you have left your stitch marker in. And you will just finish when you get back round here. So just one normal round, and then I'll show you how to finish off with the last round section. Okay, so I finished my white row, and as you can see, it's sitting pretty much flat. There's a little bit of a funny bend here, but that will sort of be evened out once you do the red. So what you're going to do is just 2 rounds of red single crochets, just normal single crochet every stitch round twice, and then I will show you how we're going to start doing the decreases. Okay, so I've done the first 2 rows, and I meant to say that I've been stuffing a little bit as well as I go, so I've now kind of stuffed almost up to the top because it's really hard to stuff around the curve once you get to this point. So I would suggest kind of stuffing it up to around this part here if you can before you continue. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do 3 single crochets and then a decrease for an entire round. So you're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then a decrease. And the same again, 1, 2, 3, and then a decrease. You're going to repeat this all the way around. Okay, and that is me back to where we started that round. So this time for round 4, you're going to do just 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So just 1, 2, and then a decrease. And repeat that all the way around. Okay, at this point, I'm just going to stuff a little before the hole gets too small. Okay, so I've stuffed most of the way, as you can see it's practically sticking out there. So go on to my next row. For this one, round 5, we are just going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease to really pull the hole tighter. So that's 1 single crochet, 1 decrease. One single crochet and a decrease. Okay, for this next round, you're just going to do decreases. There'll be no single crochets, just decreases. And you're going to do this just until the hole is small enough that you can pull it closed. Just make sure you keep your stitches really tight so there's no gaps in your decreases. Oh, I did not mean to hit the camera. There you go. Okay, at this point, I'm going to just put a little bit more stuffing in. And just a little bit more stuffing. Okay, I think that's perfect. So I'm just going to do one more decrease. Okay, now I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch and I'm going to fasten it off, but leaving a bit of a longer tail this time. So you can either now take a sewing needle or a smaller hook, and you're just going to pull the small hole you have left here closed. So basically just wind in and out of those last stitches. Okay, so you just need to tie a knot now. And then I just tuck in my tail. I'm not going to bother tying a knot because I pulled it so tight through, I don't think it needs one. I will just use my scissors to tuck this end in. There we go. The hole is closed up. Okay, I will take my camera back a little bit. And you can see almost the whole finished thing. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it and your candy cane turned out really good. I hope you have a really good Christmas and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!